We're going to do something a little bit different today on Chillin' with Adam. I've invited my friend Sara Kujawa and her son Adam Kujawa to join us. Like my Adam, Sarah's son Adam died suddenly as a result of an accident in January 2014. And like me, Sarah had to find her way through the grief process. Sarah and I agreed to talk today. We don't know what the format is going to be. We don't have planned questions. We don't have any idea how this is going to come out. All we know is that we've agreed to talk with you and our Adams and Sarah's spirit guide, who just happens to be Robin Williams. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Sarah. Hi!
Hi!
Welcome to Chillin' with Adam.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This is so exciting.
I am so excited to have you and your Adam.
And my Adam. And that's how we connected because of our Adams.
Isn't that crazy?
Yes. And
I love it.
That.
I know, go figure. I mean, I don't think there's all that many friends who can say that they met as a result of their sons connecting in the spirit world.
That's right. I know. That's awesome, too. And we met through Eric, even more so.
Yeah, crazy. So let's see if I can back into this, how Sarah and Cindy met. We are Facebook friends through the Channeling Eric Facebook group. And when I was Greg and I were going to Houston in January to attend the event. Somehow, I know what it was. You saw something I said, and you brought it to Carrie Minna's attention.
Yeah.
And it was in a comment.
Yes, you were on some post, and you made a comment about Eric and Adam, and I commented and said, well, I have an Adam.
Yeah.
And then it connected, and I said, well, and then you asked me, like, within an hour or two, are you coming by chance? Are you coming to Kim Babcock's Channeling Eric event in Houston?
Yes.
And I go, well, I'm in Houston. Yes, I will. I'll be there.
Isn't that crazy? Well, here's the funny thing. On your Facebook page, it said you were from Michigan. And so for whatever reason, I just assumed that you currently lived in Michigan. So I didn't even know that you actually lived in Houston.
I know, isn't that crazy? I think because if you're not friends with that person on Facebook, it just shows the highlight, because I was born and raised in Michigan, but moved to Houston in 79. So you probably just saw little blurps of it, and that's why, which is even more validation.
Yeah, it was just super fun.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. So so then we met, and you and your wonderful husband, Greg, came out and had dinner with my husband and I, and also with one of Adam's friends was here visiting. And she came over too. Yeah.
Oh, and it was really great meeting Carrie. Yeah, there was so much going on with all of us. And you were sharing with us that night that you have this amazing ability to communicate directly with Adam. You want to tell us a little bit about that and how it happened? I mean, how soon did it happen afterward?
I won't have the exact months and days.
Oh, it doesn't matter?
When you have a death of a child, your whole life turns upside down, and you just kind of know the before and then the after.
Exactly.
So blends together. So if I feel discombobulated. But anyway, as soon as he passed, we were getting validation even hours before he passed, and we weren't even notified of my son's sudden passing until the following morning, because there was an investigation on the work scene of the accident. So, long story short, I believed in spirit. I believed that there was an afterlife. I knew all that. I was raised Catholic, but I always questioned it as adult, as most of us do on this journey, right?
Absolutely, right.
Realizing that we're believing in other people's beliefs, not our own. And so I was into Pluto, Ellen Media. I think there's a delay.
It seems like it all of a sudden. Something is going on here that's weird. Okay, Adam, are you playing games? Your laugh seems to be in present time, so maybe our delay caught us up. Okay, so please continue.
So I was into listening and watching Teresa Caputo.
Oh, yeah. The Long Island Medium.
And she was going to be coming to an event, a gallery event in Houston. exactly, well, I didn't know until after the fact that it was exactly 1 month before my Adam's accident. And I had taken a friend, the two of us had gone, but now in hindsight, months later, I realized it was exactly 1 month before his accident. But it was for me to validate and witness all these beautiful healing moments these people were having at the gallery event.
Right.
It was for me to see it firsthand, not on the TV screen, not through someone else. And so it kind of pushed me forward. And at the time of the accident, it was in January of 2014, I had purchased a Teresa Caputo book for myself for Christmas because Santa didn't bring it. All right. I had just finished reading it the night of Adam's accident, and I had it on the coffee table. And so when we got the knock on the door and everything fell apart, my husband came in and he kicked the coffee table. Teresa Caputo's book had flipped. The cover was upright, and it was facing my daughter and I. So we just looked at it. I looked at it, and I knew at that moment he was connecting. But I picked the book up and slung it across the room.
Oh gosh, I'm getting goosies. That is so amazing. I love that. You knew it was Adam.
I knew it was Adam. And also, so we flew to Colorado because that's where the accident happened. And so we had a lot of signs with even the first 24 hours. But you know how you're in shock, you can't understand. You're like in time warp.
Oh yeah, I do know.
Not just 24 hours. It's almost like the first 24 days you're in time warp. You're in your own little bubble, and the rest of the world's moving, and you're not.
Right.
And so, but of course, looking back, every time I got a sign, I knew that there was something pulling me instead of pushing me away. Because at first, it kind of scared me. Because I thought, oh my gosh, what waters am I diving into? Because it's me. But I knew it was pulling me, and I knew it was Adam. I knew it was everyone pulling me. Everyone, my parents are in spirit. Most of my family is in spirit. Uh-huh. So they were all pulling me. It was that pull, but it was a love pull. It wasn't a scary pull. It was only scary if I talked to other people about it.
Right, because they're scared. Or you don't know how to explain it. Right.
So I went inward and just dove into every type of spiritual book, metaphysics, anything I could get my hands on, because it was taking me out of those horrible thoughts of reliving everything. So it kept my mind busy. Mm-hmm. And in turn, I learned, because everyone has their own belief system, that it helped to see different versions of everyone's belief system.
Yep, right.
Mm-hmm. And then realize that we are each on our own journey, and there's no right or wrong. And that I manifested that I will be communicating, not knowing that was my soul plan, because I didn't even understand soul plan or soul con. I didn't understand any of that, but I knew I was going to be able to. If Teresa Caputo, James Van Praagh, those other ones that I followed, Sylvia Brown, if they could do it, I could do it. There was no barrier there.
Right.
There was no barrier, because I knew that love was going to pull us together no matter what. So that's how it started. And then the whole healing process, learning about healing. I was in lots of physical pain within days of Adam's passing. And I was a fitness trainer, and I had my own gym for many, many years.
Wow.
And so I knew that we held on to our negative energy and our emotion. I knew we held on to it, but I didn't know how to release it. That's just common knowledge, but I was more old school, I have to admit.
Well, yeah. I think losing our kids, cracked us both wide open. All of a sudden, when somebody that's that dear to you isn't here anymore, it's like, okay, well, I'm going to go find them.
I'm going to go find them. And I'm going to do anything and everything I can. Uh-huh. And your path too, both of us, we were to learn to communicate. And so in turn, it helps us heal. And if we help ourselves heal, in turn, it helps heal the family. Because we're all raised as a mom, you protect and you fix everyone else first. Well, that doesn't work. As we know, we have to put the oxygen mask on first.
There you go. That's right. You put your own on first.
Mm-hmm. And that's a hard one to change belief systems on, because I thought I could fix everything and heal everybody and prevent bad things from happening. But as you and I know, we can't. It's each of our own soul's journey.
That's true. One of the very first messages I got from Adam was about accepting and allowing And with those two words, if it's something that needs to be accepted and allowed, it's like it just kicked in a soul contract. I could feel it. I knew it was a contract, and I knew there was something very, very serious expected of me, something that I was to do. And I am doing it, and it's still evolving. It's changing, but it started just like you with, learning everything I could about, my metaphysical journey and, learning to be a healer.
Right. And I think we're all born teachers. Now, whether we're teaching contracts only, that's a whole other story. But we all are teachers for sure for each other.
Right.
And so I had to learn. I was put on the journey. As we know, we put these paths open, these doors open for multiple reasons. There's layers to everything. You think you got something figured out, and you realize, no, that's just the tip of the iceberg. There's more, and there's more. There's always more. Always more.
There is always more. It's amazing.
Yeah. So that put me on the journey of being able to heal myself physically, because I've always been athletic. So it was not in my genes to say I don't need pain pills. I wanted to go the healthy route. I witnessed too many people in my life who didn't go the healthy route with grief. And of course, there's being a teacher. They were teachers just by doing that.
Right.
So learn about releasing energy and trying to rebuild and put my life back together, just like you. It's like your whole life was like a filing cabinet, and every tornado came through, and your life is everywhere.
Yeah, so things change irrevocably. I can't say that word. Irrevocably. They were never the same.
After that.
Yeah, even things what I was doing for work, things just kind of change where, I loved my job. I loved what I was doing. And I was using, the healing energies as appropriate. The bottom line is once you're a healer, you are kind of a vessel for that energy. And wherever you go, it goes, right?
Right.
So I experienced some really cool things, in my career, in terms of, having some energies present that help calm situations or heal situations and circumstances. It helped me in my work. But I just also knew very strong, that I was on a different path. And then I kept asking people, I was ready for it all to happen now. You know how that is. We want it all now. It is a process, and it all takes time. And I kept feeling and hearing that it would take maybe 2 to 3 years. And it turned out to be just about exactly that, where something happened where I was able to retire and move into this work with Adam.
Yeah, which is awesome. And I officially came out as a medium about 1.5 years ago, but I still kind of stayed under the radar because we still have, you and I are still going through emotional things. It's only been 3 years for me too. And
my Adam crossed in 2011.
Yes. So I'm still thickening my skin a little bit. But will
it ever be thick enough?
And so every day's a journey. And so it's a pretty positive person, and I know that's helped.
You are.
I know. So if I can look at the silver lining of everything and look from a higher perspective on everything, it helps take the shock and the pain out of the situation.
Yeah, and it keeps your vibes high enough that you can communicate with him.
That's the tricky part.
It is. It's one of the things I really wanted to touch on with other people who are in grief who want to connect with their loved ones. That's the hardest part because it's so heavy until you accept it and allow it. But once you realize that they are still here and they can communicate with us, it helps. But it feels to me like it's sort of, we have to find the midpoint. We have to raise our vibrations as high as we're able to, and they have to lower theirs as low as they're able to, and we meet somewhere at the frequency.
Somewhere in the middle. That's right.
Yeah, and it's like dialing into a radio station, but we have to be able to receive, and we can't get it when we're carrying those dense energies of grief.
No doubt about it. And I think what helped me being more positive, and with you more positive, is because if you were already in a lower vibration and not in a good place before you're catapulted into it,
right,
it's more difficult.
Right.
And not that we have spirit helping us 24/7. all the time. Even through other people, they're helping us. So all that helps raise our vibration. And so that put me on the journey of learning, not just your thought, which is that's the major tipping point, changing your thought process to get into a higher vibration and how we think about ourselves mostly. And then so we move into others and the unconditional love and all that. But then there was like just your surrounding, your environment, changing your environment. Sometimes your friends change, your diet, everything you're doing affects everything. And that's what was, because we're creatures of habit, so I was doing everything the same every day, not knowing all the beautiful changes that can occur if you just open your eyes to them.
Absolutely. Yeah, starting to do things differently really made a difference for me too. I would get up every morning and I would burn Nag Champa incense. That was Adam's favorite smell, and smell is a very strong sense in terms of connecting with it energetically and emotionally. So that felt good, and I would put on, nice calming music. I basically turned my house into a church.
Right.
Cleared all the energy and made it so zen in here that it felt, at least the environment felt good. And another, one of the most powerful lessons I've ever learned was from Eckhart Tolle, the power of now, staying in the now moment. That gets really hard too, but when you're carrying those really, really heavy energy, sometimes the only way to get some peace in the moment is to laser focus on what is going on right now.
Right. Yes.
I mean, that is the only time that's real. The future is not here yet, and by the time it arrives, it's now.
You're right, very much so. And I was, my mom was a worrywart, so I learned behavior to always worry about, and Adam, when Adam was born, my mom passed 3 weeks before Adam was born. Cancer.
Oh my.
So that was a life changer right there, of course.
Absolutely.
Born, not having my mom here to help me.
Right.
But I realized as soon as Adam was born, my whole life shifted. But then I had this fear from the moment I saw Adam that he was going to have a short life. I already had that insight of him having a short life.
See, I had that too, but I didn't know which one because I have 2 boys.
Right. Yes.
Did you find in the long run it helped?
Everyone points out to me that it did help because I gave him extra special love and attention in that respect. Mm-hmm. But yet, in hindsight, I worry constantly because I thought I could prevent something happening. I took that on because I didn't know.
That's the hard part, knowing that we can't. Some of this stuff is not preventable. I mean, it's like we literally sat down and had a meeting about it. This is going to happen. And when we're in the in-between, we know we're eternal beings.
Right.
And we realize it's a human adventure in which our soul is to progress. We outline the lessons we want to learn. And they have to include certain types of events to learn those lessons, especially if we're going to help other people.
Right.
And the hardest part about, I think, sometimes is getting our heads around the fact that we actually signed up for this.
I know. But that sure helps takes the burden off of us.
It does. And I mean I know the healing that occurs for us when what we do helps people.
Yes. No doubt about it. And so then like I said, every day is a journey. We have still our little triggers and things that set us off.
Yeah.
But we know. And once you learn, it's like riding a bike. You know how to you have to get back on the bike, and you'll remember how to ride it. So we can get back into that higher vibration. We know, we've been there. We know how good it feels to feel that connection, to feel that oneness.
Exactly. I said that to myself last week, and here's an interesting thing. I'm just going to say it. It's the truth. I live in a town with some very low vibrations. And consequently, what happens to me sometimes is when I leave and I go to a very high energy place, it's kind of like if I've been driving with my radio going, and I get to Mount Shasta or Sedona, and this most recent case, Lake Tahoe, all of a sudden the channel clears and there they are.
Right.
And I
That
mean,
is
it's
awesome.
like there's
Yeah.
Adam, there's Eric. What is it about? I mean, it's like once somebody meets Eric, Eric is just always there. He is probably the
He's
most
always there.
ubiquitous
He's just,
soul ever.
oh, wherever.
I know. But and then I tell myself, "Oh my gosh, this feels so absolutely amazing. I have to remember how to get to this place." And then I think, if I could just hang out with Adam and Eric all day, why would I ever want to do anything else, right? You just want to stay at that vibe. But I really have noticed that it isn't all just me. That when I am taken out of the vibrations I live in on a daily basis, and I'm around people who are high vibe or in places with higher energy, all of a sudden, boom, there they are. And so this is what happened last Friday. I'm in Lake Tahoe, and I'm just in an expansive mood. I was happy. It was gorgeous, great view. I didn't know this yet, but there was a spiritual center very close by.
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, there
Very
were
good.
some really powerful, uplifting energies present.
Yes.
So anyway, there's Adam, there's Eric. And then I felt this other presence that felt, I don't know, I described him to you as a lumberjack. I don't know why
Oh, yeah.
I'm saying it. But the reason I say it is when I look at a lumberjack, they have strong arms. Strong arms are very capable, and maybe this is just symbolic, and a big chest, a big strong chest, and it was like a strong heart and lots of compassion. And I felt like I recognized that energy as your Adam, and it was like I came with a vision of your face, and then he gave me a feeling in my chest, and it was almost like a touchstone to tell me, this is how you'll recognize me. And I saw you again. So I thought, well, maybe this is how I'll feel him when I'm around you.
Oh.
And then my Adam was there, and Robin Williams. And at the time you and I met, you shared your connection with Robin Williams. But I was so discombobulated trying to figure out this dream about Harrison Ford. I was focused on nothing else because Spirit was so insistent I figure it out. I don't know if I told you this, but I actually did solve the dream and figure it out maybe the next week. But meanwhile, back at the ranch, I had forgotten this, huge thing about you and your connection with Robin Williams. So anyway, there he was. And then I start telling Greg about this, hey, Adam and Eric are here, and I think Sarah's Adam is here, and I don't know what's going on, but I feel like she has a connection with Robin. And then all of a sudden, he's just like, I don't know, think the genie in whatever movie that was. He's like, and you too, darling. And then he shows me my 22-year-old self in the Bay Area that I was so into, Mork and Mindy, that I would not go out on a Tuesday night. He showed, and I remember I went to the extreme that one time when somebody wanted to go out that night, I actually met them at the door. That's after Mork and Mindy with rainbow-colored suspenders, a beanie, and I thought, okay, I'll probably never see this guy again. Well, it turned out he was wearing a trench coat and a blonde wig trying to surprise me.
Oh, that's a great story.
He looked like the Avon lady through the keyhole. Yeah, a couple of nutballs.
Yeah, great story.
So anyway, so he shows me that. And then Greg remembered the connection. So anyway, I'm like, okay, what's going on here? And it just felt to me like they were saying, we need to have, Adam was saying, let's invite Sarah and Adam and Robin to chill with Adam.
Isn't that fun?
Oh my God, I thought that was an absolutely amazing idea. I thought it was super fun.
And we neither one of us know where it's going to go, but it's like, Robin's energy is just so exciting. It's like a pinball machine.
Bing, 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 bing.
He's around all the time, and he's like still a Spitfire, obviously in spirit.
He is.
And, he gives me fun visuals, and he comes through with many of my readings or sessions. He'll come through. His humor lifts our vibration. And how can you not love Robin?
For sure. So he's actually on board as one of your guides, and he helps you in your readings.
He will help. Yes, he will.
That is super exciting. So, is he with us today?
He's been here. He's been around. He has been around. He said, for sure.
For sure. I think he just wants us. I think he wants us to help cheer up people who are sharing the kinds of
think so.
experience that we've been through.
I think that's it. I think it's to show others that if you and I can make it, and we didn't even know each other until January, that other parents can do the same thing.
You know, that's
learn to communicate. It's learning this is where we're at in the world. You know, like all those old beliefs. We can, and there's a reason for it. You know, we all are teachers. We're all healers. Let's start healing and teaching more.
You know, it is hilarious that you chose those words to say it, because I'm going to share with you what Adam and Eric were doing.
Sure.
They were saying, Mom, you and Sarah just need to show other people who are experiencing the same thing how you do it. And I was getting ready to go out for dinner, so I was standing in the bathroom, and I had this big mirror in front of me, and Adam and Eric are over each shoulder, and they're going, this is how we do it, this is how we do it, you know, and they're just dancing over my shoulders, and I thought it was fun, so I'm standing there, I'm dancing, this is how we do it, and all of a sudden I have this visual of you and me and Alyssa Medus, doing this is how we do it. And I thought, this is awesome, because this is really what we're doing. You know, we are showing people how you do it, how you survive the unthinkable, how you survive what you imagine to be the unsurvivable.
Yes, for sure. And then we're able to dance once again.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right.
To appreciate other kindred spirit, as you would say. You
Absolutely.
Know, to people to spread this. The only way we can spread it is through each other.
Absolutely.
Reading a book is fine. That's awesome and great. But experiencing and touching and talking and feeling, it brings it all to life, and it makes it real. Yes, that's for sure.
Absolutely does.
And so, and it's all about learning more about ourselves. That's what this journey is breaking down those walls and the beliefs of all the stuff that we learned growing up. Because these new kids coming in now, this new generation of kids are coming in with this high energy and vibration. They already know. They just want to be happy and live life to the fullest, you know?
Right.
And so they're here to teach us.
They're very intuitive and very hooked up. It's going to be really interesting to watch the education system change to meet their needs, the needs of telepathic children who have built-in lie detectors. So some of the canned stuff that we are teaching, that's in the blueprint in terms of, you know, what will you teach for history, etc. We're like, no, I don't think so. That does not resonate.
Yeah, you're so right.
That's going to happen. Yeah.
This change, you know, I can see it even from Adam's age. Adam was 28 when he passed. So, and he had ADD as a child. And of course, I medicated him because that was the thing to do. And it was expected in the public school systems.
Right.
And this phase, and then in 8th grade, he decided, I can't be me. I'm done. No more medication. Of course, he didn't tell me that. He just quit taking it. That's what he did. He spit it out. And but then I realized, you know, he has shared that with me, that his age group, the kids of that age group, were the pioneers to come through and work through all these different medications, because they were putting them all in one box. All the ADD, all together. This is what you need right on. Where now there's so many different new medications that they needed, and different teaching techniques and individual programs for the kids, which they didn't have.
You know, the bottom line is, if the ability to be hypervigilant wasn't hardwired in our ancestors, they would have been eaten by saber-toothed tigers and we wouldn't be here.
Correct. That's right.
So that's actually an adaptive behavior that needs to learn how to be managed, not squelched. Squelched?
Oh, yeah.
I think I'm making up new words.
And that's fine. That's good. You can add it to Wikipedia.
There we go.
And also, even with the diet, the food has changed. Foods have changed so much in the past few decades. So our kids were raised on foods that have been genetically modified as opposed to our childhood. So there's lots of changes going on, you know, and we're all recognizing that. And that's a good thing. So, you know, for you, what you're doing with the Chillin' with Adam is awesome. You know, putting it out there and being able to put yourself out there, you know. I know how it would impact watching Alisa and Jamie. Would impact me to say, oh my gosh, this is unbelievable.
Isn't it? I wish so much I had found those sooner. Do you know that I did not even know that they did anything other than the book until last summer when Eric showed me. And we're talking the summer, I think, of 2016.
Oh,
Adam
wow, you did?
crossed, yeah,
Look, and
Eric,
look,
yeah.
that's
Eric
right.
met us left October, I think it was 6, 2009 or something like that.
Yes. Huh?
And then Adam crossed a little over 2 months. No, it was a year, maybe 13 months later, because he also left in January, like your Adam, but my Adam left as a result of injuries in a car accident on January 23rd, 2011. And then he was
Yes.
on life support for 5 days, and he did very much what yours did. Showed us he was still here while the planes were waiting for the fog to lift to fly in to harvest
Yes.
his organs.
Yes. So, and what a beautiful story that you can share that little bit of him isn't spread out to so many, and how it helped just the medical staff, let alone your family and the family of the donors, but the medical staff, everyone. It's that ripple effect
No
again.
kidding. You know what the funny thing is? The male nurse who was in charge of the organ donation process, he whispered in my ear. Well, I told him. I shared with him, a number of ways that Adam had talked to me during the time I was there in the hospital. And as I was pushing his gurney down the hall to the room where his organs would be harvested, he leaned down and whispered in my ear. He said, I think Adam's going to be talking to a lot of people.
Oh,
Oh my
that's
gosh,
beautiful.
he has no idea how right he was.
Yeah. See how we can look back too and go, oh my gosh, we had those monumental moments, even in the deepest of grief, but we're in such deep grief that we
It
have
was,
our walls up.
yeah, I mean, I got to spend 5 days with him. And all of a sudden, the time had come, that he's going to really be gone, because he was right there with me, and I was at the head of his bed the whole time. He had glass walls in the room, and I would just sit at the head of his bed. And my younger sister, Rhonda, who passed 2.5 years later, she died suddenly in her sleep. She was at the foot of Adam's bed, and I had cut his hair. I wanted to have little pieces to tie ribbons to save, and Rhonda and I'm cutting his hair, and all of a sudden I start laughing, and Rhonda looks at me, and I was shocked because I just heard him say, "Mom, what the fuck did you do to my hair?" I mean, I heard him say it. I mean, he's on the bed, he's unconscious, but I heard it in my head. And I started laughing, and my sister's looking at me, and I told her what he said. And she had a Chihuahua that had passed the year before. And she used to dress this Chihuahua up and do its nails. It had pierced ears. And she said, Cindy, you wouldn't believe the dream I had last night. She said, I dreamed Muccini was sitting up in a barber chair with a lot of other dogs, and they were wearing tiaras, and they were getting their nails done.
Oh my gosh, how great is that?
Well, it's just bonkers. It's crazy.
Right.
But I said, Auntie, Adam is messing with you. Don't you remember that he lives directly above a dog groomer?
Oh my gosh, what a neat connection. Yeah.
So there's his apartment. Downstairs is the dog groomer.
Right.
And he gives her that dream. So,
yeah,
I mean, there were lots of times like this during those 5 days. And so the accident that caused Adam to leave happened on an island, sort of in an island environment in the Delta waterways around Stockton, California. They get something out there they call Thule fog. And the difference between, say, Thule fog and another kind of fog is it's super, super dense. You just can't see your hand in front of your face. So that kind of fog caused the accident. And then because of that very same fog, the planes had difficulty landing to retrieve the organs for the individuals who were going to receive them. So that actually bought us time. So I had a little more time. And now all of a sudden it's Wednesday, and it's the one day that there's 2 birthdays in the family. So they're back at my mom's house celebrating my stepdad's birthday. I'm at the hospital with Adam getting ready to donate his organs. And one of the nurses said to me, are you ready for this? Are you really ready for this? And I just kind of checked into with myself and thought about it. And my sister, who was really into this metaphysical stuff, I actually was too. I was already, open-minded and believed a lot of the things I believe now, except for I wasn't communicating with anybody because I hadn't lost anyone. So it kind of changed some things. But anyway, my sister and I shared this, and she had a Facebook friend who was a psychic. So I said to her, ask your Facebook friend psychic if she has a message for me. And she said, well, what's your question? And I said, well, if she's a psychic, she doesn't need a question. I mean, I wasn't being snarky. I knew that she didn't really need a question because that's the way psychics work. If there's a message, they give you the message. But anyway, so I said, I don't have a question. Does she have a message? So I forget that I'd asked this, right? All of a sudden, somebody comes in and they said, there's a patient at Cedars-Sinai who is a match for Adam's heart, and this patient is really fading fast. If we don't get the heart there, they're no longer going to be eligible to receive this transplant. Are you willing to allow us to take Adam to Stanford because the planes can land? And I said, sure, we'll follow the ambulance. So we're all going to do this. And then all of a sudden things changed. They said, Cedars-Sinai just called Stockton and they can land. So it's happening now. And, it happened so fast. It's just kind of like the accidents. You just got to do what there is to do. And I'm still, at the head of his bed. And I don't want them to take him away from me. If this is going to happen, I brought him into the world. I'm going to give him back. So when the sliding glass doors that were the walls of his room opened, they lifted the lock on the bed, and I just started pushing like I had pushed almost 28 years before. And I pushed his bed over the threshold and turned left. I pushed the bed out of the unit, and halfway down this long hallway, and then there's the doors of no return on the right, the surgical unit. And I knew, this is where the mother made of granite is supposed to crumble into pebbles and roll away. And I knew that if I cried or lost it, this was a conversation I had with myself before I even pushed the bed through the doors. I knew if I cried or lost it, I wouldn't be able to do it. It's kind of like if you let that hairline crack in the windshield, the whole thing's going to crumble. And I reached down and I whispered in Adam's ear. I promised him I wouldn't cry because I knew if I cried, I couldn't do it.
Yes.
When I got to those doors and they opened and I knew I was supposed to stop because only hospital employees be on this sign, I still pushed. I kept pushing. And right then I felt my phone buzz in my pocket. So I push him over the threshold, and it's Greg and me. He's holding my hand. We're pushing the bed. We've got the transplant team around the bed. And I pushed him all the way to the doors where they literally took the organs. And when I looked at the clock, Sarah, he was born at 3:25 a.m. and it was like 3:30 p.m. It was like he'd been alive for 5 minutes. It was a short life, but, It was amazing. Anyway, and here I'm wearing this shiny gold jacket that looks like something a rock star would wear. That's not something I would have ever bought myself, but Adam talked me into getting it. Adam and I went shopping at Burlington Coat Factory, and Mama comes out in gold lame. So I delivered him back to the angels in the gold lame, and when I got in my car and I looked at my text, I had asked Adam before I asked my sister to talk to the medium. I said, are you where you want to be? And his text said, I would never trade places.
What a beautiful validation and a beautiful story. Thank you for sharing that. And I know it's hard.
Well, it's hard, but how beautiful is that? If I couldn't have gotten a better message, because I really, really did believe that he was where he wanted to be. And so for me to want to have him back, would mean wanting him to be in a place that he really didn't want to be anymore. Adam's death was not a suicide literally, but he was done. He was done with the judgment in this world. He was done with the hate. He was done with not being able to be who he wanted to be, because there were other people who said, no, this isn't acceptable. You can't do that. You can't do this. People wanted to legislate who he could love, how he could behave, what he could do. And Jimi Hendrix described it perfectly. He said it was like he was slowly suffocating. He couldn't even be. And what he said was, I really was ready to leave. And he said, that car accident was just the universe granting my wish.
Yes. Wow, that's cool.
So, be careful what you wish for, folks. The ideal, way to deal with feeling that way is, of course, try to connect with people and raise your vibes. And Adam knows now that there is help for people like him, but he didn't know then, and he didn't do anything the traditional way. And I think that's what he's doing right now with the Chilling with Adam. He's bringing through VIPs who have had difficult lives, who want to share, their life lessons because it helps people. I got the greatest email yesterday from a young man who said that he got so much out of the interview with John Wayne in terms of how to manifest his ideal career and his future. I mean, this was information they could use right here, right now. And that was so awesome. Who would have thought that a young man now is going to be inspired by a dead cowboy, John Wayne?
And we have to trust the Spirit's going to bring forth whatever that we need, not what we think we want.
Right. And we can, if we had to guess the forms in which these lessons would come, we could never do it.
No, we couldn't. That's where I'm saying, like, once you think you got something figured out, oh, no.
that quite how it is. Do you do any of the three spirits that are with you here? You have Adam Hamill, Adam Kujawa, and Robin Williams. Do any of the three of them?
When you were talking about about the boys, I think that one of them, I think it was my Adam. It could have been your Adam. We'll call mine Ad, because even though Adam is a short name, we would call him Ads to make it shorter, so that we'll keep out your Adam, my Adam. Okay. The Adams family.
and how funny is it that my last name is Adams? That was no accident. I married Greg Adams, so I am Cindy Adams.
When I saw your post on whatever it was with channeling Eric back in January, so caught my name. What caught my attention was your name was Cindy Adams, and you were talking about Adams, and I was going, I know, Adams.
Well, no kidding. And that's what one might think, but no. I mean, but what are the odds that I'm going to marry a man who's going to give me back the name I very carefully chose for my firstborn son?
So, all the dots start connecting, and that's the beauty that, with your son and my son, they start connecting those dots. And with yours before your son passed, you were already connecting. And hours before my son passed, my granddaughter, he has a daughter who's now 8. She had just turned 5 at the time. She was drawing her kitchen. But mind you, the accident happened around 10 o'clock Colorado time. And she was drawing this at dinner time. She drew a picture, and I have a copy of it that I've shared. She drew stick figures, and she drew her and her daddy holding hands, and they were walking up the hill, and at the top of the hill was Jesus on a cross, and she had angels. But it wasn't until, like I said, we didn't know about Adam's accident until the following morning, and I believe, if time serves me right, it was another 24 hours before I even knew about this drawing. And my granddaughter's mother is the one that contacted my daughter Amy, who was with us in Colorado, and said, "Oh my gosh, you have to read this. This is what she's talking about. That Aubrey drew this beautiful drawing, and it was about Aubrey walking Adam up to Jesus hours before his passing.
Like me giving my Adam back, she gave her daddy to Jesus.
Yes. And I looked at it. I thought it was beautiful, but the same thing at that next moment, I was like, I don't want to look at it right now. That's not where I'm at. I'm trying to figure out how to get Adam home, his body home, and how to have implanted services. I was in a totally different.
Right.
But I knew it was always going to be there. That was a beautiful gift.
Oh my gosh, amazing.
And she wasn't raised in the church. She wasn't going to Sunday school. Had
That
no
was
recollection
intuitive.
of Jesus being on the cross. That was something that was guided for her, whether it was Jesus, her guides, maybe it was Adam's higher self, I don't know. But it was still beautiful, no matter what.
No kidding. Amazing.
But yeah, that was crazy in itself. And I so appreciate all those connecting dots now, even more so. And that's what we're supposed to share, because when you're heavy in grief, sometimes you don't see those dots.
That's true. That's true. You know, it's interesting. One of the things that Einstein said when we visited with him was that he said that what happens is all of a sudden a bunch of seemingly unrelated things, when they're brought together under a different law, all of a sudden they connect and they make a whole new thing.
Yeah, just like you and I.
Absolutely.
Whole new thing. So, but yeah, Adam and your Adam both came through, and you were talking about the brawny man, Paul Bunyan.
Oh, yes.
You know, saying that, you know, he and Adam are both pioneers, well, Robin too, pioneers to help change things. You know, these young boys came in to shake up the way society felt.
Exactly.
You know, whether, you know, smoking pot, ADD, whatever it is, you know, because they were showing unconditional love their whole lives. And I can feel that from your Adam too.
Right. Right.
They had a different system than you and I had as kids. Mm-hmm. And so, coming through, they said the pioneers like Paul Bunyan, you know, the brawny man,
yes,
you know, from the paper, the checkers, kind of thing like that. And same with Robin Williams. I mean, he had different roads that were paved by others before him, like Richard Pryor and those before him, because he came in like a lightning bolt, and we all just pulled him up. You know, he came in just like a teddy bear, you know. So, and for him to show us that he still lives on and still has that humor in it, 90-mile-an-hour, like, wisecrack, one pun right after another, that I can't keep up with. As soon as I get through part of one joke, he's on to another joke. You know, and that's maybe my attention span now, I'm not sure.
Does he have a message for us today?
Saying how grateful we are that we're all together, finally, to be able to talk about a topic that's not easily discussed.
No.
And there's many other topics that we can discuss in the future.
That's
and
great.
Will help because he has the humor. Because when we talk about our boys, we get emotional.
Exactly. And I picked up on that piece too, because I thought, wait a minute, you want Sarah and I to talk about our Adams in front of people? How are we going to do that? And it's like, with Robin Williams. I mean, seriously. Yeah, I mean, how
he's
about
like
that?
Playing and he's doing like clown acts behind me.
Oh man, I can just imagine. My Adam is as dorky as Robin Williams is. So, I mean, the two of them, man.
The balls.
You probably...
the three amigos, like we talked about. Yeah.
Exactly. How fun is that?
Yeah, that's awesome. So that's what he's saying, that there's so much that we can share. You know, not that we don't already share with others or whatever, but there's so many platforms available. That's why we're all being brought together through channeling Eric. Some are splitting off, but we're still spreading. Doesn't matter. We're still spreading the light. But I see it more a newer light. You know, this is like drop the old school way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And one of the very best things about it are these YouTube channels and shows like this. You know, some of the shows that I enjoy watching, of course, are Channeling Eric.
Yes.
The Channeling Eric YouTube channel, Channeling Eric Hour of Enlightenment, the call-in radio show where you can get advice. Kim sometimes does Facebook Live, that being Kim Babcock. I love the Shiny Show with Allison, Alfin Allen, and Carrie Silverlining Minna. The Joyride Show. Even though I met Tiffany in January, somehow I didn't, maybe I couldn't find the show. I'm not sure what happened, but once I found it, my goodness, what a wealth of information. Every single time I watch that show, there's always one or two other episodes I want to go watch.
Yeah, they're just great, loving gals. And same thing, Carrie's the one that Carrie, the Joyride, had contacted.
Carrie Walker, yeah.
Carrie Minna, my friend Carrie Minna. She only lived 10 minutes from me. She contacted Carrie because she saw one of the Shiny shows. And then when she found out she was here in Houston, it was like, oh, we all got to get together.
So you guys didn't know each other? Oh my gosh, I never knew how this happened.
Carrie Walker and Tiffany had their Joyride show. Had started in April of last year. So it's only been a year and a half they've had the show.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So it's new. And so you and Carrie Minna are relatively new friends with Tiffany Williams and Carrie Walker because of the Joyride show?
Yes, because Carrie got asked to be on the show. And then Carrie had messaged me and said, you've got to meet these ladies. You're just going to love them.
Oh, they're so amazing. I love them.
So it was later, and then they asked me to be on the show to talk about my journey. And I hadn't done that publicly yet. So
you did a beautiful job. You did, Sarah. I loved it.
Thank you. It took me several months to get up the courage to do that because I didn't know if I'd fall apart. And that's part of it. And, and I didn't want any, negative talk about it or whatever. But it worked out beautifully, and I trusted that it was all just fell into place. And so we've been on the show. Carrie and I have been on it a few times, and Carrie's been on it more than me. And they're just great gals. They're just great gals. And we all are on different paths, but yet we're all searching. Searching and enjoying, trying to stay fresh.
Well, I am currently looking for a WordPress guru to help me out with my website so that I can put links to, I really would like to add a resources page where I've got links to all the other help that's available, all the other shows and stuff. The interesting thing in my case, I knew that I was going to write a book. I have been writing Adam's Gift now for, I think we started in 2013. So I've been working on it for a while, but the book is about my journey and how Adam has continued to be a part of my life. So it was something that was continually evolving. And I know because of the way that things are done now, that often when people write books, they have blogs or YouTube channels. And I thought that might come in the future for me. But it actually got turned around backwards. Adam and Eric flipped it around. When Eric came on board last year and sort of commandeered my laptop and showed me what he and his mom were doing, it was something I had already been told that I would do. I was told it was actually the day before Easter, I had a meeting with Stuart Pierce. He is legendary. This guy was formerly the director of voice for the Shakespeare's Globe Theatre in London, and he works as a voice coach for actors. He coached Eddie Redmayne, and I can't think of the name of the movie. It was the film in which he played a cross-dressing female. Brilliant role. And then he coached the gentleman who won Best Supporting Actor for Bridge of Spies. He's just... Stuart's expertise is helping people find their voice. And the way he got started, well, two of the people that he worked with who were transformed into entirely different people were Margaret Thatcher and Princess Diana. Now, I don't know that much about Margaret, but it's my understanding that he kind of softened her up a bit in terms of her look and her manner and the way she spoke. And with Princess Diana, she was such a shy country girl, she would just look like this, she wouldn't even look directly at you. So anyway, he did beautiful work with these people. He channels 12 of the archangels that he refers to as the angels of Atlantis. So anyway, I think one of my friends, Carrie Kennedy from Scotland, she's an intuitive artist who does amazing work as well. she'd had a reading with him, so I decided to do it. So here I'm talking with Stuart, and he's telling me I'm going to have this YouTube channel. And honestly, Sarah, even though it wasn't that long ago, I'm picturing me with a guitar. I mean, I'm serious.
Right.
I tried on all these hats in my head of what Cindy could do that someone would watch, and I came up with goose egg. No way am I having a YouTube channel. So then fast forward a few months, and then Eric shows me what he and his mom are doing. And
yeah, that's why you were unaware of the videos on purpose until you were ready.
That's exactly right. So basically what they did was, here's another thing too. I was having a really hard time finishing the book because a couple of things. You know, I don't have support for what I'm doing in my family. In fact, some of the people are upset about it and think that my attention and energies should be focused elsewhere. They don't see any value in what I'm doing other than perhaps some personal catharsis. But other than that, you know, I should be paying more attention to other relationships. I should be spending my time serving children. Now, let's never mind the fact that I was paid very well for doing that for a very long time, and I retired from doing it, and that when you retire, you're not expected to do for free what you were being paid to do. Anyway, I'm solid in, you know, where I am and what I need to do. But I'm just saying, though, that it has made it hard. It's made it hard. I carry, you know, for a long time I carried heaviness in my heart about this. And I just couldn't get moving. And I think what Adam and Eric did for me was connect me directly to the people our work is helping. And now I don't care about anybody but them. I mean, let me rephrase that. I still love everybody I love, and I still do everything that I feel that I should do in my heart. But there are, you know, people who are on their own journey, and my attention isn't going to help them or not help them. It's their journey. It isn't mine. And, you know, I do what I can to help. But, you know, when I realized that some of my relationships and circumstances in my life were keeping me from finishing the book, I think that's when Adam and Eric came in and said, well, let's just flip this around and do the blog and the YouTube channel first and connect you with your people.
Yeah, there you go. See how it just all works out. It just all works out.
It's amazing.
Because we put our own timestamps on everything. Oh, it's got to go this. We have to have, you know, this and this. No, not really.
Absolutely,
you know, and if we resist, because I should be writing a book too, and have I started? Every time I start, I stop. And I know part of my journey is to be able to express myself more openly, publicly, to help others. Because I know those people, so many other parents who they have lost a child. I can't say lost, but, you know, it's a softer word to say. Lost a child has been brought to me so that I can help them. And that's been beautiful. And I've been able to reach out to many of Adam's friends and give them messages from Adam and others that knew Adam, you know. So I can see it just growing and growing, you know, the healing part. And you do too, we want other parents to see. This is a journey of learning, exploring, but also to help the whole world.
Absolutely.
About the beautiful energy in these cities that you went to. We got to do this in our own towns. We have to be a part to help raise the energy and help teach people that they can do it in their own home. Make it example.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. You know, you are doing something relatively new to you, I think, that you said that you were invited to do. And this service that you are providing along with, I'm going to have you tell it. It's just absolutely amazing to me. I just can't believe what you're doing. And I'm super excited to ask you to share this with our audience. Would you please?
Yeah. I'm doing a little bit of everything right now.
Well, I'm talking about the people who are either in a coma or who are not able to speak.
That's a new venture. And that's mine who I met through the Joyride show. She has Soul Bridges International. Okay. And that is her family. And so I met Nora, who used to live in Houston. She does past life regression therapy.
Okay.
And so that all another spreading out more of Eric's stuff. And she is starting where she is reaching out. There's so many people that have family members, loved ones who are in coma or unable to communicate. Because we can speak with our higher self, just like you spoke sweet son Adam before he passed. We all can do that. We're all speaking telepathically. We just don't recognize it because that was not our way of life. Just
exactly.
Like we can look at our pet. We know what our pet wants. We're speaking. Or we can look at our baby and we're speaking telepathically. Right. So it's just a broad. Because, gosh, there's so many raw and hurtful emotions that are wrapped around different illnesses with family members. Those woulda, shoulda, couldas that we can help work through to help release either before they pass or when they are in the process of passing.
Yeah.
There's so many that can't speak to their loved ones or be heard.
Right.
You know? And I mean, now that you just talked about that, speaking to Adam, you know, before, you know, technically passed, think of how broader this can get.
Yeah.
Even more. How awesome is that? You know, we all can all speak to our, be channeling others' higher selves. We can all do that.
So you're helping people communicate who don't have the ability to communicate, correct? Maybe helping loved ones communicate? Okay.
Yes, this is who she's reaching out to. And I have had several, maybe 3 cases personally in the past year and a half of people that I knew that were transitioning. Mm-hmm. Or a friend of mine who had a family member was transitioning. Mm-hmm. And so we did a session where messages came through from their higher selves before they passed. And one was a friend of mine that I even communicated with. And so it was just like, I hadn't even thought about it until it happened. It's just one more door that opens.
That is wonderful. So Sara, how do people get a hold of you if they would like your assistance?
I'm on the Channeling Eric Medium site, so they can just go to Channeling Eric Mediums and put my name in, Sara Kujawa. They can go that route. And
okay, so channeling.
Email link on there, ChannelingEricMediums.com.
Okay, and Sara Kujawa, Kujawa.
I think I'm the only Sara anyway.
Okay.
So there's multiple. It's a beautiful website with all different from the healing modalities. And I'm a Reiki master. I know you're a Reiki practitioner too.
I'm also a Reiki master, yes.
So incorporating all those different modalities, and it just helps. It helps us spread the love and light because there's no right or wrong. You know, we all do grief differently, but it's up to us how long we suffer. I'm a true believer of that. It's how long.
That's true. How long we suffer.
You know?
Sara, I have to ask you, do you have any kind of colored light source in the room with you? Or I don't know if I'm seeing energy, or do you, the light is changing with you. And I'm seeing like red, yellow, but super subtle.
I don't have any color source. I have a lamp in the corner and that's it. So you're picking up on some, either my aura.
Well, actually, this is what I think it is. I think it might be partly your aura. I see white around your head and shoulders, but I think it's the 3 amigos. I think it's Adam, and Robin. I think, yeah, because it just happened again. I cannot wait to watch this video, and I'm curious to see if the viewers can see what I see. Because I don't know if it's in my third eye or if it's really there.
Yeah, they say, it's got a 3-ring circus going on back here. Okay.
That is hilarious. Do any one of the 3 gentlemen have anything they want to say about, anything?
What? I heard your Adam say how much he loves you. I did hear that.
Love you
and
too,
then
Adam.
Robin's giving your Adam a big old hug. He says, I love you, man. I heard that. And then Adam's going, hey. He's saying that to you.
Hi,
hey.
Adam. So, did I do a pretty good job sensing your energy? Did I, was that you that showed me that feeling in my chest, how to recognize you?
He said, yes, almost like a heart squeeze, like a hard hug.
It was a heart hug. Yeah, it was a feeling in my chest.
Yeah, Adam is a beautiful, loving, compassionate, easygoing, go with the flow, willing to help anyone, give everyone else's shirt off his back type of guy.
Yeah. His energy almost feels pink to me, like
he goes pink.
Well, not in a feminine pink. When I say pink, that's the color of unconditional love and compassion.
Yeah.
That's the heart of the lotus. And that's the energy I feel from him.
Yeah, that healing love. Yeah.
I feel strong pink. Pink power.
Yeah, and now you got Robin saying something about wussy pink over here. You didn't say wussy though.
Hey, when it comes to the spiritual work, there's no such. There's only woo woo, no wussy.
That's right.
That is awesome. Thank you so much for coming and talking with us today. I don't even know where we go from here, if anywhere, but we're going to go ahead and share this with our viewers. If folks want to, I know that there's a need out there, but when I wrote the blog, I basically said, I'm going to do this as long as it's fun, as long as you guys are nice. Adam's in charge of the complaint department. We are a work in progress. I don't know what we're doing or where we're going, and it's kind of still like that. We do the visits with VIPs, and the way that works is Adam will tell me who one of the special guests is, and then he lets them choose who to bring.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then
that's cool. It's a fun surprise for you.
It's awesome. It's amazing. And then often what will happen is that person will choose the next person. It's kind of funny how it sort of is rolling out. And then that's with Emma. And then with Allison, we are doing sort of a Strong Women in History series where we've done Anne Sullivan and Anne Frank. And next up, we are going to have Florence Nightingale. So I'm super excited about that. And then with Emma, next up is going to be Marilyn Monroe.
Woohoo!
I cannot wait for Emma to get off vacation so I can meet Marilyn.
Yeah, all your Chilling Adam videos are great. They're entertaining, and it's just all your mother's love. It just flows between you and Emma too, and you and Allison. The love just flows between all of you.
It's so fun. I just love that we've all met each other. I haven't met Emma in person, but I'll meet her during the next visit. You did just meet her.
Yes, we had a great time. All of us got together. It was Tiffany, Carrie, Emma, and Emma's mom, and Lisa. So we all got together and had a girls kind of week, actually. And then we went out of town for the weekend. It was good because we're all in different places and are learning, but yet we're also like-minded that we just all blend and just kind of go with it and have fun and laugh and make new memories. And I know you know this part when you have all these hurts and voids.
Yeah.
You got to build new memories to fill those voids up. So you're not going back to certain dates or triggered emotions of holidays and different things. You have new ones you can fill in those holes.
Absolutely. So we are all here to support each other. And, that's what Sarah and I are doing. We're supporting each other today, enjoying each other's company. And we just wanted to share this visit with anybody else who's interested in watching.
Well, thank you so much, Cindy. Thanks, Adam and Robin. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.